Hi, my name's Katie with Modern Textiles, and today I'm going to explain everything about Longarm Quilting Pantographs. So you might be here because you're maybe looking at getting a long arm and you're learning a little bit more about it, or maybe you are a long arm quilter, just got your long arm, or possibly you're just a quilter who wants to know more what's going on with long arm quilting and what is actually going on when you drop your quilt off to get quilted, or if you mail it off to your long arm quilter. So if you didn't know, I am a professional longarm quilter based out of Minnesota. I offer mail-in quilting as well as local client quilting. And I operate a 14-foot giant monster longarm quilting machine out of my home. I've nicknamed it Optimus Prime because it's a Gamma Optimum and it's operated by robotics. So that's kind of the first difference when it comes to longarm quilting. And sorry if I keep looking over there because that's where my machine is. So I feel like I'm like talking to my coworker because it really is running every day. Whenever I'm here, it's running nonstop. So the first big difference when it comes to a longarm quilting machine is going to be if it has robotics or if it's going to be hand guided and you're using paper pantographs. So I'll get into those two things. And you may go, there's more to that difference-wise for longarm quilting than just that. That's true. There's a lot more that goes into quilting when it comes to the frame, to the type of machine, all sorts of stuff. But really, I would say most of the time whenever I talk to someone and they're asking me, do you do custom work, which is typically hand-guided, or semi-custom, which can be a combo of both hand-guided as well as robotics with kind of setup parameters. That's a whole different beast for a different video. But the big one is are you operating with a computer system? So robotics, digital, or yeah, I would say digital, robotics, or are you hand guided, whether it's operating with pantographs, paper pantographs at the back of the machine, or if you are just hand guided free motion quilting with your long arm machine. So the big difference is I would say most people these days are using edge to edge robotics. So that means you are getting the same design of quilting from edge to edge of your quilt from top to bottom, just repeated over and over. The nice thing when it comes to robotics, one, they are very expensive to get. So the robotic system itself, for me, it's it's one computer tower and another one that looks like a computer tower, but that is the robotics housed in that, and it's hooked up to my long arm quilting machine. The other is going to be that with hand guided, you have a printed out pattern that you roll out the length of your long arm. So for me, it'd be a 14-foot table. Most people have a 12-foot table. You would roll out that paper, and then there's a laser at the back of your machine that you're essentially using that laser to trace the design that is on the paper roll. When it comes to a robotics, I set everything up on a computer software and then make sure everything's sequenced properly, and then tell the computer, we're set, good to go, and it will self-guide itself and operate on its own without me standing there manually moving the machine, which is ergonomically much better for me. So that way I'm not hunched over a machine. Well, you shouldn't be hunched over, but being 6 feet tall, things really aren't built for my height. So typically I have to boost everything up higher to make it more ergonomically correct, especially when this is my full-time job. I'm doing this 40 hours a week. So making sure everything is as friendly as possible. I'm sure as you as quilters also know, making sure you're having proper posture, your machine table height is at the proper location. So that way you don't have any back, shoulder, neck issues down the road. So you'll hear me say hand guided and paper versus digital or computerized. Those are kind of two terminologies that you can kind of trade off. So digital just means everything's run by robotics, it's computerized. Paper pantographs is going to be a hand-guided type of quilting style. So from there, there's pros and cons to each of them. The big thing is I always get, well, you operate with a robotics, so everything's going to be perfection. I gotta say, it's not going to be perfection. As close as I want it to be perfection, I still have a lot of manual tasks to take place when I'm advancing your quilt. So advancing means rolling it back up onto the take-up bar, so that way I can quilt the next section of your quilt. I'm only with, I would say probably my machine is one of the biggest on the market. I can only quilt about a little less than 24 inches of your quilt at a time. So your quilt width and your quilt length, I can only quilt about 2 feet at a time. and then I have to roll it up, move to the next one, line every point, and then go ahead and quilt that next area and continue to do that until I get to the bottom of your quilt. That is another thing, is the perfection is really tough because you're trying to, especially if you have a very highly aligned, so say we're doing an orange peel, or if we're doing any type of design where the points meet or there's overlapping quilting from one row to the next, that is a very tricky thing for a longarm quilter. That's more of an experienced longarm quilter will perform those tasks much better than if you're just starting out. I would not suggest starting out and offering those type of pantographs to your clients. Work on those on your own quilts, or if you have a friend that's like, yeah, give it a shot. I'm not too worried about it. This is going to be a quilt we snuggle up under, and I'm happy to help you out, test your skill levels, build those skills. But it's something that you're definitely going to want to work on those skills before you offer to any type of clientele. So moving into pantographs itself. So that's kind of the base layer of just longarm quilting, the two differences, hand-guided versus robotics. The next thing is going to be the quilting pantograph itself. The main thing is you're going to have, as a quilter, and it's just good lingo to know as a quilt client, if you're sending off to a longarm quilter, there's going to be one repeat. So that means that's the one design that you'll see repeated throughout your entire quilt top. That's what we call a repeat. So repeat and then row is how many repeats are in one row across the width of your quilt. So if you have a 70-inch quilt and you have a 10-inch repeat, you're going to want to have probably 7 of those repeats in one row. If you want to make it more dense, this is where it comes in handy having a robotic machine, is I can scale that 10-inch design smaller, as small as I want, or as big as I want, up to that 24-inch width, right? Or that quilting area, because if I go bigger than that, it's going to cut off the repeat. If I go too small, you might start seeing issues with just the quilting quality itself. So if you want to take a 10-inch design that's heavily dense or dense quilting and shrink it down to 2 inches, that might just be a disaster. So definitely follow the rule of thumb, whatever that may be for your quilter. If they're recommending, hey, we can go down to this much, but I can't go any further, it's not going to look great, I would trust their gut. They're going to know their machine the best on what it can tolerate and what's going to kick out high quality looking stitches for your quilt. When it comes to a paper or a hand guided machine, they are going to be set to whatever the quilting pantograph designer designed their pantograph at. So if the height of the pantograph is 6.5 inches, it's on paper, it's printed. They have no ability to scale that up or down because they are buying that from a distributor, from the designer. So they'll get a giant scroll, or they'll have to tape repeat, repeat, repeat all the way. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to scale it properly down if they're printing at home to make it worthwhile or available for their quilting machine to hand guide that way. So typically when you have paper or print at home style pantographs that you're hand guiding, you're going to be set to what the design was made at from the designer. Really, this is just great knowledge to have as a quilter yourself, especially if you're sending off to a longarm quilter or a longarm quilter in general, is going to be knowing that repeat terminology. So knowing that one repeat, especially if you're shopping online for a pantograph, you're going to notice that the repeat is going to be in a different color than the rest of the background design. They just want to call that out so you know what a repeat is. The next thing is going to be your rows, how many you want in a row. So if you have specifically in mind, or maybe you dropped into Illustrator or a design software and you're like, oh, I really like this panto and I want it 10 wide and I want it this and that, tell that to your longarm quilter. They would love it. I love it when people are like, I want this design, I want it to be this tall, I want it to be XYZ, this color thread, you name it. That's like a dream client for me. I'm like, okay, you know what you want? Fabulous. You got it. Don't get me wrong. I love it when people go, pick whatever you want. Cause then I just have an intuition of like what a quilt needs. I don't know. It's not a magic skill or anything, but I wish I had a better way to tell you of how I pick pantos. I have a YouTube video on like what my gut tells me. It's for certain designs and pattern layouts. But usually when I open up a quilt package from a client, I'm like, oh, this would look good with so-and-so design. So then I go and check their intake form and I'm like, oh, look at that. We already were either on the same page, or it was like, hey, what do you think? Go with whatever your gut tells you. And right then and there, I already know what's going to be the right call. So from there, you're going to want to know your repeat And then if you are shopping for a pantograph for your quilt, there's a few things I would look at to make sure it's going to be a good stitch out quality. One is watch the video of how it stitches out. If you're seeing a ton of backtracking, that means you're going to have a lot of overstitching, which depending on how the design stitches out, if it's a large motif and it starts out doing its whole design and then very at the end it starts backtracking some of that original design that was at the beginning of the stitch out, there is a good chance that those stitches will not line up perfectly and stitch directly over itself. Not a good look, okay? It's just because as you're quilting, things start to shrink up, right? So if you've got a very intricate design and you start off and it takes maybe 30 seconds to stitch out the entire pantograph or that design, that one repeat, and at seconds 25 through 30, it's going through some of the original from 0 to 5 seconds, it's not going to look great. There's a chance it could look good, but more than likely, it's always a red flag for me as a quilter to know that something might not line up perfectly. So it's always something I warn clients about before I start stitching that out. The other thing is going to be offset. Do you need to have a 50% or any type of offset from one row to the next? So here's where that rows come in. You have row 1 and row 2. Say row 1 is here, and offset means row 2 is shifted over maybe by 25%, 50%. That's just something to keep in mind, especially if your quilter is operating with paper pantos, or even for my gamel, I have to do some manual settings for that. I can do it, no problem, but it's one of those things that it's just good to be aware of when you are asking for a certain type of pantograph, especially if you want it to be a very big, loosely dense quilting. Having that offset might be a little bit trickier because typically we want to have 2 rows in our quilting area in order to achieve that offset and then realign when we advance your quilt. All right, and last but not least is going to be precision alignment. So this is going to be something as a longarm quilter I know, a longarm quilter should know, is like I said earlier, orange peels or anything where you have points that are matching from row to row, that is going to be an advanced, I'd say, yeah, probably an advanced skill as a longarm quilter. You want to make sure that you have everything perfectly aligned and you have that skill set down, so that way nothing's shifted off, especially if it's densely quilted. Like I said, typically when things are quilted, it starts to shrink up. So we need to have those skill sets to ensure that everything's lined up perfectly, and we're taking into account that if there is any type of shrinkage with your quilt while we're quilting it, that it's going to be taken into account for, so that way everything looks perfect and seamless once your quilt comes off the roller. All right, I'd love to know, do you have any other questions about quilting pantographs? I do design plenty of quilt pantographs myself. You can find them in my shop, which is going to be linked in my description below. Otherwise, I would love to know. Any comments, questions, feedback, especially from you quilters that quilt with paper pantographs. I'd love to hear any feedback on my commentary. Hit us below in the comments. And in the next video, I'm going to show you the top 5 beginner quilt blocks you'll want to check out, and that will scale beautifully to any size.